Our next speaker is Rooz Mahadavian, also from Tesero High School. He's a junior, and he's got the notes for this speech on his iPhone. Very cool. Come forward, Rooz.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. So, ironically, I'm going to be talking about technology and the impact that it can have on newer forms of service. So, the world we live in today has fundamentally changed in just the last 20 years. In such a short amount of time, so much has changed in just how humans interact with each other. We all now live in the digital age, as the cliche goes, but what does that actually mean? Because without exaggeration, the whole library of modern human knowledge has been published online. And today we have access it on our phones. We carry it in our pockets. I mean, that blows my mind. And what's amazing to me is that our generation really undervalues this achievement. It's one of the remarkable features of modern life, but what do we use it for? I mean, on Facebook, we don't reach out and connect to people across the world. We see what our neighbors are doing and how their vacation went. And on YouTube, we don't try to document and educate our ideas, but we go and see funny videos of cats, things like that. And of the top 100 most searched phrases on Google, something even slightly related to education wasn't in the top 10, or 20, or 50. The first even slightly educational thing that came up was a search for test answer keys. In the top 10 were searches for pirated music, movies, games, and porn.
Yeah.
And that's just really shameful, because what we have is something really powerful. The internet can empower people because you teach yourself. Everything you go, I mean, it's just, like I said before, it's a library of human knowledge. And all you're limited by is how much you're willing to learn, how much effort you're willing to put in. And it's driven by volunteers. Because of, like what I said, what people use the internet for, purely entertainment, it's undervalued. People don't actually look at it as a serious means of achieving something. But ask any teacher what they think about Wikipedia, and they'll tell you that, it's all fake and you can't trust it. But you can. The 4 million articles that are published on Wikipedia were done so purely by volunteers, people who spend their time serving the world with their knowledge and their information. And it all attributes to a greater cause, where we live in a world that is not driven by, just the American ideals that were talked about in 1776, what Benjamin and Jefferson were talking about, was where you would be born in a world where you aren't limited where you're born. You're only limited by how much you're willing to work. And unfortunately, after 200 years, this is still not the case. People are still, in America, limited by the quality of the education they receive based on where they were born, how much money they have, and the status in their society. And they don't have to be. The internet empowers people to teach themselves things, and from that, again, like I said, they're just limited by how much they're willing to work. If we invest more money and more time in the internet as a means for educating people, the results can speak for themselves. There's already been amazing progress in this field. Websites like Khan Academy and Wikipedia already show how much knowledge has been put on there and how much we can gain from the internet. Just last September, during the whole Benghazi accident in Pakistan, an 11-year-old girl named Khadija Naizi was teaching herself physics at a college-level course online at a website called Udacity. Now, the Pakistan government shut down access to YouTube. They had to censor it because of the whole video that was put online. And Khadija couldn't finish. She was on the final. She was taking the final, and she couldn't finish. But what's amazing is that people around the world reached out to Khadija. People from Malaysia, Portugal, and England. They started summarizing the videos, and they started sending them to her. And eventually, the professor at Udacity, the one who built the site, took all the videos and uploaded them to a specific file-sharing site that wasn't actually censored by the government. And she became the youngest girl ever to pass the course, which that blows my mind. At age 11, she's taking a college-level physics course. An even better study was done by the organization One Laptop Per Child last year. They dropped off 20 tablet computers in a village in Ethiopia. They just dropped them off and they installed special monitoring software to see what was going on, and then they left. And within a day, the little villagers, they didn't destroy them like they thought they would. They opened them up and somehow one of them managed to turn it on. And within a week, they were using apps and teaching themselves English in a week.
Wow.
They were learning basic syllables and they were learning basic letters and spelling. And within 4 months, many of them could spell like perfectly. They were chanting the English language around the village. And in almost 9 months, many of them could have some basic form of literacy, which increases their life expectancy 500%. And within 12 months, I found this funny, one of them actually managed to hack the tablets. They had taught themselves basic programming, hacked one of the tablets, and turned on the camera feature and started taking pictures. And which I just think it shows that the internet is really, it's an empowering tool, and we don't see it that way, but it really is. Using the internet, we can teach ourselves, we can tap into our own knowledge, and all around the world, not just the United States, everything that we put into the internet is available everywhere. So all around the world, people can teach themselves things. People are no longer limited by what their government wants to show them, or how they are oppressed by their government, just based on a lack of knowledge, which time and time again history has showed us is the case. Like last year, just last year, the Egyptian Revolution. It would not have been successful without efforts put on Twitter and Facebook to actually spread their ideas, spread their knowledge, and it was largely a non-violent revolution because of it. The US didn't have to intervene, we didn't have to send armies, there was no violence, no war, peace. Because, like I said, again and again, we can empower people through education. And that's all it is. Once they know, once they have the tools in their brains and their mind, they can bring that out. Develop their own nations, fight their own diseases. And I think that's a much more powerful way of just serving the world through peace than investing so much of our time and resources when the timeless parable of teaching a man to fish just comes into play once more. Because when we gave those children in Ethiopia the tablets, we really did. We gave them the world. We opened it up to them. And it was that simple. Because we gave them a world where they're no longer limited by how much, by the opportunity given to them, or what they could learn, or their money, or their power. They were only limited by how much they were willing to learn. And I think, in general, that's where the future is headed, and we should definitely spend more time and more efforts into pursuing such a goal. Thank you.